Good evening and welcome to Face for the News First team. I'm Niresh Eliathambi. We've got just 41 days to go for General Election 2024, and then we all get to choose our MPs to represent us in Parliament. And tonight we have with us just one such candidate who is vying for a seat from the Jaffna district. Welcome to Suren Gurusamy, who is running from Jaffna. Suren, good evening.
Good evening, Niresh. Thank you very much for giving me another opportunity on a wonderful evening like this to meet the people and to discuss various things on a tight schedule of this business election hassle-bustle. Thank you.
Well, Suren, it's early days in the campaign. Yes. Your name has already been announced as a candidate, and you are running under the symbol of the conch shell. Tell us something about this.
Yeah, now conch shell has been taken as a identity of unity of the Tamil people in the last presidential election, and it was a common candidate has been fielded under this conch shell, and later by Tamil Thesiya Podu Katamepu. It's kind of a Tamil National Common Forum, or there is no correct word for that, common platform, or common structure rather. And then emanating from there, after the presidential election, this Podu Katamepu has decided to continue with the parliamentary election as well, to ensure the unity under the conch shell symbol. Accordingly, we have decided, Podu Katamepu, we have decided to field candidates under conch shell, and that is how this has come up now for the general elections.
Now, your alliance has 5 principal parties. Yeah. That's the EPRLF, the Plot, TELO, the Tamil National Party, and the Democratic Crusaders Party.
Correct.
So 5 key parties, fairly well known, some of which go back for 40 years. And of course, you all have come together and you all are now going to field candidates throughout the north and the east, the 2 provinces.
Yeah, 2 provinces.
Yes. Not in the rest of the country.
Not in the rest of the country.
Right. Yes. So it will be 5 electoral districts.
Yeah.
Jaffna and Vanni in the north, and in the east you have Trincomalee,
Batiklo,
Ampara, and Batiklo. Ampara, of course, is known as Digamadulla.
Yeah.
Electorally, and this is an important block of seats, isn't it? Because this time, who knows how the election will go. The NPP is trying to get a majority, but in the last parliament they had 3 seats. What do you think of the whole possibility of the NPP getting a majority, and also where does the Northeast stand in connection with this?
No, NPP had a victory unexpectedly, or many people have predicted and many have not predicted. So under these circumstances, NPP has produced a president in these elections. Of course, he has got, not like other parliament presidents, past presidents, he had got only 42 to 44% of the total votes of the country. But despite all that, he has been now elected as a president of this country. So that has, the people have voted for a change in terms of to eradicate bribery, corruption and all other disparities, anomalies in the government administrative structure and the political system. So the system change that have been promised by them is envisaged to happen in the near future. With this wave, of course, as you said, there is a anticipation now in the northern part as well, north and east also, as a wave among the youth that this can this government or this their anticipation also can be achieved by this. But nevertheless, Neeraj, the change that took place in the south is it is not the exact change that is required by the Tamil people. Although there is a bribery, corruption and everything, their anticipation is to resolve the political question, long-standing political question, and thereafter devolution of powers, and then to improve the economic standards of the living standards of the people. So there will be seats and expected in the north and the east for NPP. I can't quantify how many of them, but there will definitely be a representation this time from north and east. Even the other parts of the country with this victory, various other districts also expected to have representatives through NPP to the parliament this time.
Right. Now the north and east, the 5 districts have a large number of seats. It's 28 out of the 200 and out of the 196 rather. And then of course you get the national list, which makes it 225. So 28 is quite a lot in a situation where no one party is completely dominating, as in the previous parliament where the SLPP got a 2/3 majority. So we have from I think Ampara district has 7 seats, Batiklo has 6, Wani has 6, Jaffna has 6, and Trincomalee has 4. Yeah, so that's quite a large number of seats. But you have multiple parties which are contesting. Apart from your alliance, you also have the other Tamil parties, and then in the east especially you have the Sinhala parties as well, and the Muslim parties. They are all campaigning, so it's quite a democratic toss-up, I might if I may frame it in that way.
So I don't know whether you are saying toss-up or mess-up.
Well, it's good for democracy when people have a wide choice.
Wide choices and multiple choices, is correct. Even in the northern part and the eastern part of the country, as you said, this time, even among the Tamil parties, there are 2 larger alliances. Earlier, it was only Tamil National Alliance, comprising of ITEC and then TELO, plot EPRLF. This time TELO, plot EPRLF and other 2 parties have joined together, and that's a larger alliance in the north and east. ITEC is contesting. It is also fairly a larger party, contesting alone in their own symbol. Why? Although they have requested the other parties where ITEC left that alliance and went to contest in the common local elections as an independent party, contest under house symbol. After leaving that, maybe they now feel the pinch of the impact of the election, presidential election results, and the fear of facing the election next time, because as you said, multiple parties are contesting. So they have invited again, they left some their close allies, and now they are requesting them to come back to form the Tamil National Alliance again and to continue.
So there are discussions which are
discussions have been going on, but the Tamil National Alliance now continuing under Democratic Tamil National Alliance structured format. They say they can only consider if the house symbol is made a common symbol, or if ITEC comes to contest under common symbol. So they are not prepared to go under one single party's symbol. So this has been quite a concern. But in Trincomalee and Ampara, of course, usually we get one seat in Trincomalee and Ampara. So if 2 parties, ITEC and DTNA, fairly large 2 parties, if they feel candidates one against each other, the chances of getting the seats in Trincomalee and Ampara will be in question. But whereas in other areas also, Jaffna, Vavuniya, Vanni and other places, if these 2 major parties who were together once and harnessing the mass support in a huge way. Now they have divided. Now there is a stiff competition among them. This competition and division of votes may pave a way for, as you said, other parties who are contesting in the north and east to gain seats in the platform that is going to be open soon.
Yes, because this is a key lesson of the presidential election, where many are pointing to the 42% that President AKD obtained, and saying that had the two other major contenders, Ranil Wickremesinghe and Sajith Premadasa, combined under one candidacy, that they might have even got 50%, which of course is a sort of a mathematical way of looking at things. Politics never works out exactly like that. But isn't it a similar situation now in the northeast with two major alliances, Tamil alliances, sort of splitting the Tamil vote?
Tamil votes, and major portion of the votes are being split by these two parties. So this division is definitely going to, it's a cause of concern of the Tamil people, that might give room for southerners to gain control. But they are trying to address the issue by appointing the traditional candidates, to remove the candidates and to introduce new faces, and maybe educated, learned people in the candidacy in various fields, like not only attorneys at law, but to have economic specialists, and then administrators, and diversified candidacy to counter the infiltration of the southern parties into their vote base. So this is the strategy they are formulated. But the division will definitely cause. Sometimes we never know. These two parties, although they are divided, the people might wisely vote so that only these two parties dominate the area by producing members of the parliament. But it has to, we have to wait and see how this is going to give the results. But on the other hand, there were other parties who gained seats in Jaffna or maybe in the eastern province against the TNA, maybe losing their seats this time to DTNA and ITEC. With this competition and stiff propaganda and campaign undertaken, and the other people in the places like from southerners who gain parliamentary seats may lose because of this competition. That advantage is also there. As you say, the disadvantage is also there. So you have to wait and see for another 41 days the campaign, how it is going to harness all the votes towards the major two parties in the north and east.
Yes, it's an interesting sort of democratic exercise, because we have seen over the past many elections one or two seats going to various other parties. Sometimes it could be the UNP, the SJB. I think even the SLPP has won a seat or two here and there in the northeast. So that tends to chip away at the entire northeast bloc in an interesting manner, and that's because of the demographics. For example, I think Trincomalee district has the three major populations, Tamils, Muslims and the Sinhalese. So on ethnic lines and on other lines, demographically people do vote in different ways.
And this time you see the economy has played a major role in deciding the candidates. So the traditional slogans may not work out this time in the parliamentary elections as well. So as you say, the people might vote with different expectations, or vote for the different value proposition, I think. So the parties will have to redefine their election campaign and strategy and their slogans.
Now, let's go back to the presidential election, where the Tamil common candidate, Mr. P. Aryanetran, he actually did surprisingly well.
Well, yes.
Given that even his candidacy did not have unanimous support from among all the Tamil parties, and he got 1.7% of the national vote.
Yeah.
And the number of votes he received was 226,343.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on the success?
Yeah, Niresh. Now, initially, I already addressed the people on the same forum on another day. The Tamil common candidate's idea was not to become the president, but to give the message of the Tamil people they are united and their political solution has not been so far given, or so the political question has not been addressed by any of the successive southern leaders. That was the message he was trying to deliver, and that attempt has been very successfully delivered, because when it comes to Jaffna district, he became many electoral circuits, he became number one, and he is on par with the candidates of the southern continent and even eastern part, although the votes were a little bit lower, but he managed to secure about 226,000, which is about, when you take the Tamil people, it's about more than 20% of the, or 25% of the Tamil voters, or maybe 30% of the Tamil voters, and they strongly say, deliver the message that the political problems have not been solved. At the same time, when you see the other candidates like SJB and UNP, they had also secured votes. Mainly they have incorporated the Tamil political solution into their election manifesto. The people anticipated, along with the economic solution, they also anticipated that these two parties, one of them wins, they will give a political solution to the Tamil people. So that has been the deciding factor for Tamil people to vote for the southern leaders. At the same time, specifically they have indicated that problems have not been solved, it has to be addressed, and this is a solid start for giving a message that if this problem persists in the future, maybe the entire northeast vote may be harnessed by a common candidate in the future. So that should not happen in the future. At least the current government and the leaders, whether they are ruling or in the opposition side, they must address this national issue and finish it off and integrate the Tamil people into the main agenda of economic prosperity.
Now let's talk about the national issue, which it's been a long time since the war ended, that there have been certain initiatives at reconciliation which have perhaps been unsuccessful because they were half-hearted. There was no sort of strength behind it. What is your take on that?
Yeah, this is after the war the war itself was an outcome of this political solution, the issue with the political solution, inequality and other matters, only the war erupted. After, let's talk about the period from after ending the war. Even the successive governments, they were talking about this political solution at the lip level. It has not taken down to the documentation level. Even Mahinda Rajapaksa's time, he was talking about political solution, but he said initially he will do 13 plus and all that, but it never happened. And then that not giving solution or not solving the Tamil solution was utilized as an election strategy. But with the Araga layer, that ideology has totally changed. Now the people wanted to be united, south and north, and they feel this political solution has to be found, and the system has to be changed, the constitutional change has to be brought to change the system, as well as to in which you have to also address the political solution. So this demand has now erupted with this Aragalaya, with the economic failure, and finding when the economic failure comes in this country, they always take shelter under the Tamil issue. So now it's no more that kind of strategy will work. Genuinely a solution has to be found to address Tamil issues and integrate the Tamil people also. So this solution has not, although Ranil Wickremesinghe to a certain extent in the good governance days, he tried to change the constitution and by solving the political issue, but it has not seen the limelight due to the President Maithripala Sirisena toppling and bringing that 51-day government revolution. It didn't materialize. Had it materialized at that time, I think by this Tamil people also will be thinking about this economic progress and join the mainstream politics. This conch shell wouldn't have been there. Now in the current governments, whoever it is, whether the parliament presidential led government or the parliament led government, after the general election we don't know who is going to hold the parliament. So both sides, I hope and believe they are sincerely committed towards solving this long standing political issue and finish it off once and for all, and then to go take a steadfast step on solving this economic issue and to grow up in the region as an economic power.
But Suren, it's been 15 years
Yeah.
since the war ended.
Yeah.
An entire generation has
Correct.
grown up. There are people, let's take a 20-year-old who doesn't even know what the war meant, what it was like
Yeah.
to be in war.
Yeah.
So it's been a very long time.
Correct.
And we have had 4 different governments since then. We had Mahinda Rajapaksa, we had Sirisena Wickremesinghe combination, then we had Gotabaya Rajapaksa, and then we had Ranil Wickremesinghe, and now we have President AKD. But are we any closer to dealing with this?
Yeah. Now, as you said, now Ranil Wickremesinghe in the good governance days, he took an initiative, although it was not to the utmost satisfaction of the Tamil people, but you can never give any 100% solution to anything. But he had moved towards the solution somewhere there, although his solution, the Constitutional Council has passed it, and then Parliament without contesting unanimously they passed the draft constitution, first reading and second reading. Had they been allowed to go for the third reading, I think that also would have passed successfully. It didn't happen. But now the current government, when during their campaign, all of them, Ranil Wickremesinghe, Sajith Premadasa, Ananda Kumara Disanayaka, all 3 of them said that they will start at least from the good governance days, the political solution, or the constitutional change that was kept halfway through, to be accomplished with the new changes into that is to start take it from there.
What is their solution? I mean, you know, it's just sort of a phrase, isn't it? Political solution. But
Yeah.
what is it? What's the nitty-gritty in it?
No,
we
it is
haven't had any of the candidates
Yeah.
actually coming out and saying this is what it is. These things are going to happen.
Yeah. Now what they say is, now the the request is North and East is they request a federal state where they can decide on their economic factors, administrative factors, and sharing of the resources and law making, everything according to their customs, practices and values. So this has been their request for a long time, and they say before the British colony there was a federal system prevailed in the country. That is how the country was ruled by the kings. So they want it to be replaced so that they can rule themselves with their own cultures and culture value and so on and so forth. So the South, I mean the successive governments also in Ranil Wickremesinghe also proposed a regional cooperation or maybe a federal system within the provinces, where two provinces, adjoining provinces, can merge themselves. So for example, north and east, the merger would be based on linguistic and cultural basis, but in the other places it is with economic reasons. For example, if you take the central province, which does not have a port, so they have to align with another province that has a port facility. Like that, there may be possible integration with the consideration of the economic factors. That provision was available in there. So the federal system would have been better not only for the north and east, but for the entire country. There was a time when this 13th amendment, provincial council system, the power devolution, when it came in 1987, the southerners, majority of them said it is going to divide the country. He said, no, it's not that. It is devolution of powers, where that the province itself can plan their economic growth. But when it was implemented in the south, then it was not they never perceived it as division. When it was implemented, so federal also, if when say federal system to the north and east, they say it's a division of the country. But if it is implemented in the south, it is not division of the country. So two different stand on same principle. That has to be eradicated. This is a better thing. Even now people are talking about eliminating corruption, eliminating bribery, and then to have economic prosperity. All this can be achieved only by a proper definite power devolution. So this power devolution process, either it can be strengthening the provincial council power devolution, or it can be a federal power solution. So when you see the economically developed countries, all of there they have these federal states. You take USA, you take Canada, Switzerland, even India is a quasi-federal, they say. Even the provinces, they are progressing. Even in China, it's a provincial system. The provincial council governments are more powerful to take decisions, and even Australia. So this provincial system and the federal ruling is very good for a country like Sri Lanka to prosper economically. So that has been it should be looked at in that way. While it is solving the political cry of the Tamil people, it will also help the entire nation to improve economically and socially.
Now the political cry is, apart from everything else, it is an economic cry, isn't it?
Correct.
Which you can say that it applies to all 9 provinces.
Correct.
In Sri Lanka, this habit of bringing all the power to the center has been an economic disaster. Long before the bankruptcy, Sri Lanka never achieved the levels of economic progress, the GDP growth, that we are now seeing in neighboring India, for example.
Correct.
And when you look at India, different states in India are growing at different paces. You have Tamil Nadu, where it's very rapid, but then you have other states where it's less rapid. But they have a hand in their own state's development. So is this what you're saying, that
is right.
in Sri Lanka as well,
Yeah.
you can't sort of sit in the center
Yeah.
and decide what's going to happen in Hambantota or Putlam or Trincomalee, because you're basically too far away.
Correct.
For starters.
Yeah, because the resources are different in these provinces. The possible economic growth, let's take central province and Uva, Sabragamua, basically it's a hill country. The economy is basically on this plantation sector. Now the fertilizer policy, I used to refer, last time I referred.
Yes.
The central government took the fertilizer policy, blanket policy, from Jaffna to Hambantota. So tea industry very badly affected. Had it been given to the provinces, they would have systematically planned accordingly. Now when you take Tamil Nadu, India, Rajasthan has a different geographical and economic structure, cultural values. Gujarat has a different culture and economic resources. Tamil Nadu has a different economic resource also, but identifying that these provinces have been given various powers. Now Tamil Nadu has their autonomous complete police power to control their country based on their culture and to manage the people. So and also they have a finance minister with devolved finance powers, with fiscal powers, where they can do their budget, they can think about how the funds can be dispersed, what are the projects to give priority, implementation, all that can be planned by them. Now for example, when you take this Tamil Nadu finance minister is more adored by intellectual than the central finance minister. So that kind of a healthy competition is given there. Here you take everything the day before yesterday, even in this parliamentary election, day before yesterday a clueless member of parliament will become a minister of health and he will know everything about health overnight, like Matrix movie. You put a compact disc and you play a program, he becomes overnight knowledgeable and he will be doing all utter nonsense, and that he will ratified by the his friends in the parliament. That is how this has been messed up whole days. If it is federal system, there will be a checks and balance between the central government and the provincial governments. So efficiency will be more. Healthy competition will bring them better to merge together, like to improve and enhance their economic viability. They may sometimes merge together and perform very well than the other provinces. Even to have I would like to say, now in the world it says, the statistics says India only has highest number of people owning private jets. Will you believe that? People will think it's only America or England. No, Indians only have private jets, highest numbers. How is possible? Because this provincial system and federal power devolution, center makes the policies. Of course, certain major national infrastructure and major policies have been made by them, but the provinces are independently allowed to take their decision. There was a electrical company was based in Tamil Nadu, I hear, this Butterfly or something. So the Gujarat has announced, province has announced a duty-free industrial attractive tax system. So the industry has totally shifted to Gujarat province. It is like it is operating like another world within that country, where now we are setting up economic zones to attract investors from overseas. But within India, the provinces are competing with each other to attract their local investors. Thereby the local investors also have grown, and now they are going out and buying businesses overseas. In England, any company is sold is bought by Indians. In America, any company is sold bought by Indians, which can be achieved by Sri Lankans if the powers are devolved. And then if you have 9 provinces with 9 federal mechanism, there will be 9 finance ministers. So only one finance minister reading whatever he wants will not happen, because other 9 will be telling you are wrong and people will know what is right. And this is why the division is very necessary, devolving of powers. That is the political cry initially Tamil people have requested for. We want this federal system to eliminate this corruption, and then to have a sustainable development and growth in our area. Please, you give it to us, we will manage it, rather than wasting time in the central government. Now that people in the south also have realized that, that's why they are talking about the power devolution. The best model is this federal model of devolving the powers.
But if you look at what the constitution mandates right now, and what has actually been applied over the last few decades, the provincial council system, the subjects which were devolved have been very successful in my opinion.
Correct.
Which if you take health, health was devolved. So you have the health ministry at the center, but then you have the provincial minister of health, and the hospitals coming under the province, and then again you have education. The schools, the government schools, came under the provinces.
I would like to note to you, now you see the best results are produced not by the national schools. It's the provincial schools are very competitive
Absolutely.
With national schools. Even health services, some of the provincial hospitals are performing much better than the central government hospitals in Sri Lanka. Housing especially, when you take the benefit, when they are listing the beneficiaries of the housing, some of the province, I think one province has been devolved with the housing power, so that they can list the beneficiaries. So in those places you don't have this housing problem. They correctly identify the people. With the land power vested to them, they give land to those people to put up their houses under government schemes. So it is working in hand to hand. Fisheries, aquatic resources shared to certain places where the fishermen are improving, loan systems have been introduced, insurance policies have been introduced, pension schemes have been introduced. So the livelihood is improving.
Yes.
Now when you have this Pradesha Sabhas, I will quote an example. Pradesha Sabhas, they have enough and adequate funds in their account. They put fixed deposits in the bank 100, 200 millions. During flood times or disasters time, they want to procure something, say a cutter, a grinder to cut canals to drain the waters. To get by the canal, although they have money, they have to apply and wait for the line ministry's approval. So there are about 300 odd councils. The line ministry will meet once a month to decide whether to allow a person to council to buy particular grinder, which is necessary, and they have money, but they don't have the decision making power. The decision making is done by central. It will sometimes take about 5-6 years to make the decision. By the time the place will be completely flooded, right? Or if the machinery is bought, then there comes this bribery and corruption. So if the permission is given to the power is devolved to the province, and if the province has that power to give the approval to the local council, the work will be faster, quicker, and then this corruption can be eliminated, time delays can be eliminated. I have seen there are so many councils, they have applied for grinders, to buy grinders and certain equipments to their local councils in the northern province. For past 7-8 years they have not got the approval. So this has been the system.
Yeah, but my experience has been that where subjects have been devolved, the provincial ministries have worked very well with the line ministry in the center.
Correct.
Let's take tourism, for example. You have the what used to be known as the tourist board, which now is a tourism development authority and the tourism promotions bureau. But you get the provincial, you have the Sabaragamuwa tourism, you have Uva tourism, you have central province tourism, and they appear to be working very well with the central tourism authorities.
Yeah, definitely. When the powers are devolved, as you said, the powers devolved to many provinces have done their duty very well. Within the powers devolved and the resources and the finance availability of finances, they have done their level best to improve the powers that were given to them, subjects that were given to them, as you said, so that they have utilized the tourism and agriculture, aquatic resources, and then now no point in asking for aquatic resources and aquatic power to the central Anuradhapura, Polanaruwa, but housing, yes. And then when it comes to now shipping also, if you devolve these powers to these provinces, they will develop their small minor miniature ports, and small tradings can take place in that. Tourism can be improved in those areas. Like that, it will become, even airports can be developed. So to attract the tourism, even the local tourism, and to invest into hotels and even projects that can create employment. Now take for example Western Province. There was a time the Western Province had a population of 2 million. Today the Western Province has about 5 million population. Main reason is the provincial councils. They have utilized their powers very well, so that the different different ministries have done extremely well. You can see people are moving towards these provinces mainly because of standard of living, good health services, education, employment opportunities. industries all are coming up in these areas, because the provincial council have been very lenient and they have developed a mechanism to work with the central government as well as with the local authorities, local governments, councils and municipality councils and provincial councils. They work very well, mingling with each other. Actual development is realized by the people. So
now, Suren, we have the general election coming up on the 14th of November, and right after that we expect a decision on the date of the local government elections, because there is a very firm Supreme Court order on this, where the Supreme Court faulted the former president Ranil Wickremesinghe for not holding the election on time,
even after having announced it.
Absolutely.
And nominations have been submitted.
Nominations, the date was set, the date was then postponed, and finally no fresh date came in, but the nominations are still valid. We are still in that election cycle for now more than a year and a half, but definitely it will be held, because the Supreme Court has also faulted the Elections Commission for not holding that election. So the Elections Commission has no choice now but to go ahead, and the present president hopefully will cooperate and the date will be set. So we have that coming up, possibly in January. But no one is talking about the PC elections, the provincial council election, which is the fourth major election in our democracy. Why is that?
Now, provincial council elections, there are two things. Number one, once you touch that, the 13th Amendment full implementation will prop up from the north and east, and there have been many powers withdrawn by subsequent bills and circulars. Like Transport Commission bill has withdrawn the Transport Ministry powers for the provincial councils, agriculture, and then Divineguma has brought down the powers of carving out divisional secretaries and district secretaries coming under provincial councils. So there were so many issues like that. Those legislations will have to be passed in the parliament to again reenact those powers or devolve those powers to the provincial council as it is in the original form. That is number one. Number two, the election was due to this presenting of this delimitation committee paper bill, and that was not passed in the parliament. Due to that, provincial council elections were postponed. But now that recently the court has given a directive that you can go ahead with the provincial council elections as well. So now that is another challenge when it comes to the more than parliamentary election, and a provincial council also, it's equally a powerful body. Now after conducting that elections, there will be, I would say, contradiction of powers between the central and the province with the current system of people may definitely from all over the country will request to devolve the powers to the provincial ministers or provincial councils to take on. So that may be a great reluctance for them not to talk about the provincial councils, but to go ahead with the central government election and to have the local government elections. So that this provincial council will be there, so the local bodies will always depend on the central government. So they will want to have this interim body. But as you said, this provincial council election is rather important.
And it is mandatory,
It's mandatory and it's significant election in the democratic process. So I think after the local council election, maybe by May or June, the provincial council system also has to be set up with the full powers devolved to them. What was withdrawn has to be reinstated, and the full powers will have to be given to the provincial council for effective functioning.
Well, we live in a strange country where when political leaders find that they don't like a part of the constitution or a particular law, they simply ignore it, and the civil servants also they also follow suit, and everybody ignores it. It's like our traffic laws. You see a policeman.
I would tell you the immigration laws.
Immigration laws. Yeah.
The qualified immigration officers are there, while teenagers are issuing visas to the
exactly.
you know.
So it's chaos.
Chaos.
But hopefully this new government has pledged actually to bring back law and order.
Correct.
So law and order means the constitution.
Correct.
And of course all the laws which are passed in parliament.
Yes.
So that means that just because a president doesn't like a particular law, he can't say, well, let's not do that. So hopefully the PC elections will also be held, because it is mandatory. We can't sort of ignore the fact that our constitution requires us to have provincial councils, which then of course would devolve power, some powers, to the 9 provinces, not just the northeast, it's the 9 provinces.
Not conducting the provincial council election itself unconstitutional.
Yes, because it robs
it's
the people's sovereignty.
Sovereignty, yes.
And that's very firmly set in our constitution, that the people are sovereign. But only to the point of being able to elect representatives.
Correct.
And it is to the 4 houses, not just the parliament and the presidency. So a lot of interesting aspects coming out in this democratic process now.
Correct. And it is rather envisaged and people expected the current president or the new government to deliver. There are a lot of things they have to deliver, unlike the other presidents or other political parties. Here the people have written what the current government said in the election campaigns. They have written and they are waiting because they have a faith in them that definitely they will deliver. And if they don't deliver, it's going to be another challenging task for them to carry out their ruling or maybe governance.
But it's also a fact that this government needs to deliver quickly. Of course, long-term economic growth will take some time. You can't sort of wave a magic wand at that. But there are other things which just take a decision or basically implement something. So this government doesn't have a very long time frame to do that before the voters would actually turn on them and say, you promised this and this was the change that you promised.
And the change was promised by the current government within number of days. They said as soon as we come, we will do this, we will do that. So people are now waiting. People are prepared to accept the change and give time frame. But as you said, no, they can't afford to delay everything and give excuses. So there is no room for excuses. Now people want to say, now time is enough. No, now you have finished 10 days. You said you will do it within a day. Now 10 days have passed. Now you can start. Now people begin to question. So it's going to be a very tough time, and it's a tough measure actually. So many years this system has been prevalent, and as you said, you can't have a magic wand to change it overnight. But at least you said whatever that is promised, if they can implement immediately to convince the people that they are on the job, and whatever they promise will be delivered, will definitely convince the people that they are capable of, or they are delivering what they have promised. Otherwise, it's going to be a very difficult task to govern this country.
But also, Suren, by delivering on the promises made by the NPP to the nation as a whole, then that would actually also apply to the Northeast, and it would be a step in the right direction where the Northeast is concerned, wouldn't it?
Definitely. That is what I hear President Andakumara Disanayaka has about 3 days ago said. Definitely Tamil's political solution will be given by way of a new constitution. So he has again reiterated, not only for election purposes, but even after as winning the president, he stated categorically 3 days ago on his message. So we will see that whether is it possible, but of course you need to have parliamentary support. Number of members in the parliament matters as legislators to allow you to adopt a new constitution, draft a constitution, and then to pass the constitution. This parliamentary election only will decide on that mandate, whether the promises can be easily delivered through the parliamentary system. That's why these promises given, people are believing, but with these elections I think the mandate will be given to the government, to the president, or maybe a new government that takes over the parliament. We have to wait and see.
So this particular general election is all important in that sense. And I'm afraid we are now out of time. Suren Gurusamy, candidate from the Jaffna district for Parliament, thank you very much for being with us this evening. And we hope to hear from you very soon, and possibly next time you will be a member of Parliament when you appear on our show. All the very best for your campaign, and thank you to you at home for watching. Don't go away, the news is coming up next. Have a good evening.